that. Okay, we'd like to call this meeting to order for the October 13th, 2014 Board of Adjustments for Union County. I'm going to open it up by reading the petition. Since we don't have our minutes, we'll skip that part. We have 4 here. We've got a quorum. Okay, special use permit 2014-005. Fred and Lynn Nader requesting a special use permit under Section 54, Appendix 1 of Union County Land Ordinance to operate a wedding and events venue located at 4707 Sugar and Wine Road, being on tax map 01-231-006P and 01-231-006S, presently zoned RA40. Mr. Land Use Administrator, is everything in order?
Yes, it is.
Would you like to come be sworn in, sir?
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Do you want the oath or the?
Good one, whatever.
All right. Do you solemnly swear the evidence you're about to give before this board is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. You're gonna need to give me that. So I can-
Yeah. Okay. So the petition is complete.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does anyone have any conflicts? All right, hear none, so I think we need a motion to hear the case.
So moved.
Second. Okay, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Mr. Jensen, we're ready to hear what you got to say.
Again, as you stated, this is a special use petition 24.
Excuse me a minute, I did forget something. Does anyone here wish to have this pushed off till the next meeting? Okay.
Again, this is special use petition number 2014-005. The applicants and the property owners are Fred and Lynn Nader, and the address of the property is 4707 Sugar and Wine Road. And there's 2 tax parcel numbers associated with this, 0112300P and 006S. The applicant seeks to operate a wedding and events venue. Just a quick little analysis of that. If you look through your table of uses, you don't actually see a use classified as a wedding and events venue. There's a lot of different uses people tend to think about that they might want to do on their property. You can't list every single use in a table, even a table that's 30 pages long like ours. So what the ordinance requires us to do, it requires planning staff to sit down and take that use, compare it to all the uses in the table of uses and look at those definitions, find the one that's the closest fit, and then classify the use that's being proposed as that use. Now, if there's not one that's even close, then the use is not allowed and they have to go through a text amendment process. We try to We don't like for people to have to do that. It's happened it's happened occasionally, but not too often. In this case, like I said, a wedding and events venue isn't a specific use that's listed, but there's a couple of uses in the table that are pretty close. And that when you look at the definition, this tends to lend itself to a wedding and events venue. Number one is a food catering facility. I know that sounds funny, but when you look at the definition of a food catering facility, it's a facility where food can be brought in or made on site, and events can be held, business meetings, things like that. So that kind of lends itself to this type of use. The other is a bed and breakfast where you can have people spend the night, and you can have events such as weddings and parties of various sorts there. The other one would be a special event. I try to stay away from that one, but that would be kind of similar to this as well. All three of those uses require a special use permit in the RA40 zoning district. So felt very comfortable not saying no, this use is not allowed. They have to go through a text amendment process when we've got three uses in the table that are very similar to this. In fact, a couple of years ago, we had a gentleman up on Santa Claus Road that was doing kind of a similar thing. Mark, you and Rick may have been on the board for that one. Doing something very similar. He had an events facility where he hosted weddings and different kind of parties and things like that. And we classified him the exact same way. So that's kind of how this was classified. So I just didn't want there to be any confusion if you looked in the table and you didn't see that specific use. That's how we came up with that. So it was me and some other folks on planning staff kind of sat down. The current use of the property is a residential dwelling, and there's some agriculture use. There's a pond behind the house, and then there's just some farm fields out behind that. Again, the proposed use requires the issuance of a special use permit by the Board of Adjustment in the RA40 zoning district. You guys have seen this before, and I'm going to ask Bill to, well, no, this is the variance application. That's my Bill. The Board of Adjustment may issue the special use if the following questions are answered with a no. You guys have seen these, but I'll run through them for the folks in the audience. Will the use materially endanger the public health or safety? Will the use substantially injure the value of adjoining or abutting property? Will the use not be in harmony with the area in which it is to be located? Will the use not be in general conformity with the land development plan, thoroughfare plan, or any other county plan? So as you can see, these are some of the existing site conditions. This is a 2007 aerial, so I think there was maybe the house may have been under construction at that time. So that's why there's kind of some grading kind of going on around the house. But that's the house site that's kind of outlined in red, and there's a pond behind it, and some farm fields out kind of behind that. Again, that's Sugar and Wine Road, and I think that's Balcom Manor Drive just to the north.
Can you zoom in there just a little bit?
I'll zoom in there just a second. I can't on this. This is a static map. So, existing zoning, as you can see, the entire area is zoned RA40. There's nothing else in that general vicinity that's zoned anything different than RA40. Again, that just restates everything's RA40. That's kind of a zoomed out map, and I can bring up the GIS if you want me to kind of pan around in a second, but that's a little bit more of a zoomed out map. I mean, you can see that the land use in that area is very low density residential development and agricultural uses. So
Okay, is the outline, the red outline?
that's the house site. That is, I believe that's parcel S. What I'll do in a second is I'll pull up that GIS site so we can identify those properties. But the other parcel is kind of surrounding it out here. You can see my cursor, all that.
Okay, so the same person owns this, that owns all the land that covers completely that pond?
Ponds, yes.
Okay, then I can sort of see the areas of it.
Again, the majority of immediate area is made up of agricultural uses and forested land. And very low-density residential development is prominent throughout the area as well. And again, petitioner is requesting to operate a wedding and events venue on the property. That'll be basically made up of, I believe, using a portion of the existing house as where the, like if it's a wedding where the bride and groom can kind of get ready, the wedding party can get ready. And then a tent set up on the property for the wedding itself, and then some festival area parking where the residents can come. And again, they're going to get up here just a few minutes after they're sworn in and give you a more detailed outline of exactly what they're going to do. The 2025 Union County Comp Plan calls for this area to develop as low-density residential, 0 to 1 dwelling units per acre. And again, you guys may approve with conditions or deny the permit. And I'll jump out of there real quick. You want me to bring up the county GIS so we can?
Yes,
I'd like to see the
please.
property owners around it.
Just a second.
Try 01231.
Sometimes this thing gets finicky.
There you go.
So those are the properties there. And bring in the area.
Well, let's stay right there this one, well. Okay. The red area, the small red area where the house is on,
Yes.
that is the only part of this property that we're considering for this permit, correct?
No, the permit.
No.
The special use petition includes both those properties.
The whole 29 acres.
Yeah, because a portion of it includes the. A portion of it includes the house, and then a portion of it includes where they're gonna have the tent area. Yeah, I should have gotten the.
We got it.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it.
Right, they've got the site plan that you guys can look at, so, the site plan.
So what you're saying then, both of these properties were gonna be in this that we're looking at. So does that, Lee, mean that he can go anywhere on the rest of this property he wants to and put another tent next week after this is approved?
No, he will be limited to what's shown.
What's in this, on this
Yeah.
page here, what's in the 5-acre square, correct?
Yeah, and again, I mean, that, you're correct, that is what's shown on the site plan. So, I don't know, that might be a question for the applicant, that maybe that other parcel number was put in there, they may not need it. But you're right, the site plan shows a 60 by 80 tent on the right side of the house and a pergola on the left side of the house, so.
Now that would, now what you're looking at. Okay. Yeah, okay.
It looks like what happens though, it crosses the red line a little bit.
It probably does. It probably does cross the red line a little bit. But they're limited to what's shown on the site plan. So, you know, there's a tent and a pergola, and that's it. They can't, and then associated parking with whatever event they're gonna have. But this, they can't, you know, they can't go put up another tent on the other side of the pond over there, or put, you know, something else on there. They're limited to this.
So then I guess my question would be, let's go with the parking and the attendance. All of it would be coming in and out of this main driveway into the house.
That'd be a question for the applicant.
Okay, all right.
Let's get them sworn in.
Do you have anything else?
I do.
Okay, well, let's get everybody else sworn in then. Oh, yeah. Anybody speaking tonight needs to fill out one of these green papers, or giving testimony, asking questions, or whatever. And then anybody who wants a copy of this meeting tonight will fill out one of these papers. We'll find them both down there.
Why don't you have her fill it out why don't you go and give it to her to fill out
Yeah.
for you while you're doing testimony?
Let me go ahead and get sworn in.
Yes. All right, now,
Mr. Balcom,
Mr. Balcom, are you gonna,
he's gonna want.
I only have one question.
okay, well, let's go ahead and get sworn in at the same time, if that's all right. Okay, do you, both solemnly swear to tell the truth and, that the evidence you're presenting this, committee tonight is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Well, Mr. Balcom, we'll let him speak first and tell us what's on his mind then. Him. Mr. Nader, go ahead.
How you doing? And I apologize for being late. I'm so sorry. What we're going to do with the venue is we're not going to put anything else up, because it would basically, the reason we like it the way it is, because with the lake and the sunsets behind, anything else we did behind would kind of ruin it. So the actual tent is, we had 60 by 80. We're actually going to go to a 50 by 80. So we're just maybe a little less. And then that is going to be for reception, and if it rains. The side where the pergola is, and the 5 acres, make it clear, is what is, the red place is where we paid we paid the land off for 5 acres first to build on. Then we had 33 acres altogether. We sold off 3.5 back about a year ago. So there's actually more land than that red shows. It goes actually, so that the red part's actually bigger, but it is where we have the pergola. Right where the pergola is on the drawing is exactly where we want to have outdoor weddings. And what we did is we set up a mock wedding. He was nice enough to say we could advertise, but we didn't do anything until spring. So basically, the main thing is to have outdoor weddings on the lake. We just think that's the best use of the property. And with the sunsets, there's some pictures, it's just amazing. The reason we started doing this is we had our house for sale for 5 or 6 years. We actually had a heartbreak where we moved out of the house for 2 months and it fell through. And we had to go along with it and possibly get sued if we didn't. We had 3 different realtors try to stick with it, and so we kept wondering why we were going through all this, and we came back, and the lady who Googled it for a place for photography, and Miss South Carolina used it for free, said that it'd be a great place for weddings. We kind of hesitated because we had some friends who go to our church, that had weddings. So when we had another person that said they would buy it for wedding, it just seemed like a lot of people interested. We actually called the people that were our neighbors and said, do you mind if we do this? Are you interested in doing this with us? Because they're already doing weddings, and they said that was fine. We were kind of doing something a little bit different, a little bit, try and be elegant, a little upscale, and so we decided to do that, and we have Dawn, who was the photographer. She's our coordinator. So she checked around and checked other venues like Gastonia, the Arbors, and Morning Glory, which is right next to us. Those are the people that go to our church. There's several venues, but we're kind of different because we're kind of concentrating not on barn weddings, but more of like the outdoor seating around the pergola. And then the main reason for the tent is reception, but also if it was to rain, it's just a nice place to go in case it does rain. The house is really large, and so, I mean, it's perfect for that. We checked with the environmental health. The septic is already set to handle everything just the way it is. The house is actually built, compared to the Biltmore in construction, by 6 national publications. And the reason we're not wealthy people. The reason we did that is we got first place in the building show. Mike Minter with the Panthers, King Lagerfeld's developer, and Dave O'Brien, who was the head architect in Charlotte, said, if you do this, we'll back you up and then you'll just build. So that's why we built such a big house. Dave O'Brien got caught cheating on his plans on Mike Minter's house, lost his license, had to move to New York. So with the economy, I just stuck with my other business. We were going to wait till we sold, because it's a big house just for us to not use. So now our kids are growing, and it just seems like a great place for weddings. We're going to just do garden areas and nothing. No, we don't want any other buildings. We just like the natural of the land and the gardening, the lake, just the way it is. So we don't have any plans of building anything else other than what's there. Still maintain some animals, stuff like that, like we've been doing. But the barn's going to stay the way it is. The house is just the way it is. They actually wanted us to get rid of all our personal belongings before we do and keep it kind of generic, so it's like an open canvas for when they want to have weddings. And we told them we wouldn't want to open till spring, till everything's ready, and we want to do everything right, just the way it's supposed to be. We've been advertising but haven't had any weddings. We've had photographers there and people look around recommending what to do. We've had 2 different caterers who would be preferred caterers. They would bring all the food in. There won't be any cooking. We've already talked to the insurance guy. We've also, even though our home insurance will carry it completely, we're also going to make the people get a special events. We're not going to let anybody, we have it on our thing that they are not allowed to bring alcohol, that only things can be served by the caterers who are licensed, and one has a restaurant, the other one's a good caterer. So it takes away the liability of cooking on, generally people, the bride may stay the night or family may stay, but we're pretty much encouraging just to, mainly for the outdoor weddings. And then the people can come through the main part, drop off gifts, but the bride suite's just for the bride. The guest quarters is off to the side, and what we wanted to stay there. We always wanted to maintain. We always wanted to be there. We also, the weddings are going to be done at 10 o'clock at night, but most weddings we're going to be in the afternoon. So, usually what they are is in the afternoon. We also put down that we want that if anybody wants to, if anybody was drinking or anybody was rowdy, we also are going to have a paid security, which we charge to them for $250 just to make sure everything's safe, because there's one of the venues that talked about they got robbed. Nobody was watching it, and just for everyone's safety, we don't want anybody, drinking or anything, getting in trouble. So that's why we're going to go ahead and charge them the $250 to have a security guard there each time we have the venue. Yes, sir.
The big tent that you're going to be setting up, will it be a permanent tent, or will it be taken down, or will it stay up all the time?
It's what we want to do is there's the 2 tents we were looking at. One is a pole tent, and I've done a lot of research in that. The pole tent looks more like a circus tent. Very pretty, very elegant. It'll withstand winds of 70 miles an hour, 50, 60, 70. The one we really want to get is called a clear span. It's not permanent, but what it is you can leave it up longer, and the reason I like that one is it takes 100-mile-an-hour winds. It costs me a lot more. The pole tent's about $17,500. The other tent, the clear span, is $29,000. I would like to spend just the 17, but as far as how we get our storms and the wind kicks up, just for safety's sake, it's not permanent, but we can leave it up longer because it resists the weather better. It's the clear span. The main thing is it has more framing in it. It can come down and go up, but you don't have to take it down as often, which saves on labor. But the biggest thing is they're much safer. Like I say, up to 100-mile-an-hour winds, and they resist. The UV is, because the UV is tough on anything. And some tents, if you lift them up, the hot summer, they may last like 3 years. It costs $2,600 each time you rent a tent, which is pretty good money to rent tents. we actually been looking around it there for a while. People didn't want us to sell us a tent just because we would be, you know, infringing on their rental business. But $2,600, and if you have 2 weddings or 3 weddings that weekend, you know, that's, you may have spent close to $9,000 because it was 150 feet delivery each time. So we chose to buy one, and that's why we want to buy one. And we want the clear span mainly because of the wind load. But it's not permanent. It can be taken down.
What
We'd like
about-
to leave it up most of the time because we think we'll be really busy. I mean, we've
What
got a lot
about
of-
from the road, the presentation of this tent, is it visible from the road, or is there any
Yes, sir.
structure to
Yes,
kind of
sir.
hide it?
It's actually, I wanted to put like to the side of the house, close to the lake, so that you can see the sunset out of the back of it. So it's kind of toward the back, it's not by the road, but I'd actually want to have them come in, besides the main drive, I'd like to have them come in the front drive, like, you know, basically over toward the middle. I want to be able to come to the gate so they can just come over there, come on in there, and we're going to have, what do you call it? Valet parking, just so we can park the cars and make sure there's no, that side there in front of the tent up by the road is very hard, so even when it rains, it doesn't get muddy, it stays very solid. So we figured that's a nice place to do that, because we want to keep all the view behind with the lake and everything, just, you know, just the way it is. So so when you pull in the house, you can see the tent to the right, where to go, and then you see the pergola on the left. So if anything, it should really increase the value, because, I mean, the house we built and stuff like, it's, you know, and the yard, and, you know, we have this 14-acre lake, it's, if anything, I think it kind of increases the value of it, and it'll be an elegant tent, you know,
Okay.
it's just
Okay.
draping, stuff like that.
Mr. Jensen,
Yes, sir.
the adjacent property owners, was this information sent out to them? Were there any objections for any adjacent property owners?
We sent out our form
Right.
letter to the adjacent property owners. I got, one telephone call. I think that might be the question that's gonna be asked here in a few minutes, but other than that,
Okay. That was my only question, is if any of the neighbors thought the tent there, if that's gonna be an eyesore, no disrespect when
Oh,
I'm
no,
asking
no,
this.
no, and we asked them all first before we even started this.
Okay.
And they, like Alan, who's behind us, says, do I need to come? I support you. I said, only if you, you know, object, otherwise it's fine. And he's, you know, like, I sell him hay behind me.
Okay, that's fine.
He's great, yeah, so it's, you know, we haven't, you know, Mr. Brooks in front of us, we've tried to let everybody know, and like I say, a lot of our neighbors have gotten the letter, stuff like that,
So
so.
basically, all of your traffic is gonna be coming in and out of this main road that you're showing here on the plot, is that correct?
Yeah, that's what we intend, but we wanna make another one so we can come in and kinda go out the other way. And then we wanna be able to park the cars so we can say, you know, it's okay to come out and have somebody there just to, you know, you wanna coordinate where, otherwise you just want people parking all over the place.
Right, okay.
But that is a single car driveway, isn't it?
Actually, it's a double.
Okay.
A car can come in and go out just the way it is. I built it so you can come in one way and go around the circle, come out. Sometimes we'll have people, like we had a church party, we had like 80 people over there. And had tables set up. You could come in and park one side and then go out the other side, which made it kind of nice so you don't get locked in there. So, but we just thought having another driveway too, it just makes it so there's no congestion. And then we can control how you park it, because, you know, if it looks congestion, and the beauty of the way it looks is, you know, our selling point for, you know, how it looks is how many rides you get.
But the other driveway will be adjacent, close to the one that's existing there now?
Yeah, fairly close, yeah. We actually have another way we can go out where the barn is. It's a joining road, like back to where they are, stuff like that, that we use to go back to the barn and my boat. But, we just think it's better to come in the front. There's a big telephone pole right there, and we were gonna wanna put a light there for an entryway, just so it's visible, stuff like that. And then we'll put, like solar lights along the driveway so it looks nice, a lot of our gardening, stuff like that, which we didn't wanna do anything until after we got approval, so.
Okay, sure, okay.
So you're saying you're gonna leave the parking area grass then?
Yeah, yeah, cause it's being, now if I was gonna do it on the left side, I'd have to gravel it, because it gets, you know, I built it so all the water drains away from the house. But that side's a hill, it stays really dry, and, I mean, you can drive on it pretty much most of the winter time, it stays good and firm. So I just kinda keep it mowed, and that's another reason for parking the cars, instead of having.
Well, where would this other driveway be?
It'd be about, it probably pretty much between, if you're looking at the front of the property, it'd be about in the middle from the driveway that's there and the gravel road that's on the side, be right about in the middle.
Okay.
Basically, if you went
Mr.
straight, you'd
Jensen?
go to where the 10 is.
Yes, sir.
Could you go pull this up and so he could describe this to everybody, please?
Mark, here you go, buddy.
On the GIS.
No, there's the main drive right there.
Yep.
Into the house. I assume that's
There's the gravel road.
So we're, tent's gonna be there, Fergal's gonna be there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And if you want to put, like, they put a website up, you can see actually what it looks like under champagnemanor.com.
Yeah, just zoom in on the house.
I'm not sure, since this is an older aerial, it may not show up on
Yeah,
here.
because actually, this is wider this way. That's red is kind
But
of, that's right, yeah,
I don't have that
okay.
parcel identified.
So the gravel driveway you're speaking of, is it up at the upper end of the top of the
It's
page
the
right
far
now?
right, it's kind of where, it's actually just outside that red line, so it's not inside the red line, but we have like a right, what was it, like a shared right of way? Like he uses it, the other people use it, so it's a shared right of way. So I generally use that when I go back to the barn. Huh?
It's not property, I don't have a right of way.
Yeah, you're
It's
probably,
that,
yeah, yeah,
it's that drive right there is the one you're talking about.
yeah.
Okay,
But you'd be building a new
The
road.
new road kind of
down-
between that, between.
Yes, sir, yeah, right between the
there.
driveway and the 5-acre red line. Yeah,
Okay.
right there.
So right, kind of right in there.
Yeah, and that backs, if you went straight, that'd go right to where the 10 is.
Okay, that's good.
Another reason I like the 10 is the wind always comes from the left, you know? So the house would basically shield most of the wind. That was another method to my madness. So, you know, I wanted to see the lake, but I wanted it to shield, it would keep it cool, and it would block out the wind because,
Okay.
you know, sometimes the wind gets pretty rough in the country, you know? Because it's kind of an open field for a long way, and the wind just gets.
So this driveway that's up here at the top, it's not gonna be used for any of the venues that are going on?
No, we're not gonna do anything with the barn. We're not gonna do anything in the back of the property for the weddings. The nice thing is, I don't want anything behind there because it spoils the view. I wouldn't want to park back there because they'd be looking out the back of the tent and the lake and see all my cars. So that just wouldn't serve you know, one reason we decided not to sell any land behind us and build is because we thought, well, if we don't sell the house, we're gonna do weddings because everyone just thought it was such a good idea to do weddings there. For
Just
2
so you know,
years.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, no, go ahead, sorry.
Just so you know how the parking works, for a facility such as this, you're not required to have any kind of paved parking. This was something that operated every day. I'm sure you'd like for it to operate every day, but for something that operated every day, you would have to pave it. But for something that's not every day, that's kind of like this, you're not required to pave your parking lot. You can do festival style parking. And just based on the square footage of the facility, they'd be required to have around room for 24 spaces. If you've been to the site, there's room for that.
okay.
I'm sure there's probably room for more than that, so.
Is that a pool in the back?
Yes, sir. It's a saltwater pool. It's, we built the house the last 300 or 400 years, but a lot of people don't care. We tried to sell it for probably 5 years, and no one is, the appraisal values even now, or when we first built the house, it appraised for $4 million. Like I said, it was kind of heartbreaking because I thought, you know, that I would build for people with them, and then they'd want to build something like that. But I have, by Killingsworth, I have the best foundation in North Carolina. I have the most mold-free. I help builders for free, telling them what to do. I do their painting. I've gone troubleshoot 20-story buildings downtown in 15 minutes, told them why it was popping, what's wrong with their structure. And people basically don't build large properties well in North Carolina, mainly because in North Carolina, your footings don't have to be as deep because of the frost. So a lot of these builders in Longview and Providence Downs do the same size footings in a house my size as an 1,800 square foot home, and wonder why they sink. And, you know, and why the roofs leak. I put concrete slate on the roof. My walls are actually 10 inches solid. My trusses are 5,600 pounds a piece, where these other builders, they use 2x4 trusses and nail a beam on so it looks like it's built well. Copper values, but not everybody's cares about quality right now as far as selling, so this seems to be the best use of the property.
Right. Anybody got any more questions? Mr. Balcom, would you like to ask your question, sir?
Yeah, I just got one. I thank you for the answer it. What you say is all true. Nothing about, it was a beautiful place, good wide drive. I just didn't know where you use that drive as a commercial drive.
Not, the side drive?
Yeah.
No,
One of my drive.
no,
Okay. That's all I'm trying to have,
No.
you could overuse it, you know.
Yeah.
You're parked inside the fence in the pasture.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be.
Just so I can go back to the boat, you know, that was something that was gonna be more value if I built houses back in, which I don't wanna do. That's, you know, when we were, it's kind of funny, when I held the house for sale for a long time, like 5 years, I decided to divide it, I thought I'd sell land. Well, I had people who wanted to buy it, and then people who were sitting, like from New York, they call and say, why are you dividing it? We were ready to buy it. It's just like almost angered people, so I took it off the market that way. I mean, I'd say it's easy to sell land, but to sell. It's not how.
Are you satisfied with that, Mr. Balcom?
My driveway's not used, and he does have the right of way to get to his barn. He's correct on that. It's about 3 feet of driveway on that.
Yeah.
Property's not any value to me because too many right of ways. I just didn't want to wear it down. It's a commercial driveway. He's putting in his pasture that was not pasture fence. Now, there's good drainage, there's good parking.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm concerned about, and just like it's this time.
Okay.
But I'll say, give him a run at it. We're good.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All our neighbors are like that. We have a great area. We lived in this road twice.
Can you step back
Yeah,
up to
Miss-
the microphone, please, sir? Okay. So, anybody have any other questions?
Nope.
Okay. We'll close the hearing then.
You sit back down.
I have to look at my cheat sheets here just a little bit. Okay, any discussion?
Yeah.
Do I hear a motion?
Make motion to petition be approved.
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay.
You want to make it clear that, the only thing that I thought of, the same thing Rick was thinking of earlier, just about the geographical location. And that may be accomplished by Lee attaching a copy of these 2 pages to the,
Yeah.
to the opinion, to
Yep.
the decision, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Works for me.
Okay. All right, well, I think we need to go over the finding of facts then.
Okay. We're through with them, is that right? If they want to leave, they want to stay?
You can leave, stay, but I mean, you may want to stay and hear these finding of facts. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Jensen, will you please go over them?
As far as the findings of fact, I mean, you could probably, make an argument that this is a pretty large property. It's going to preserve the rural character of the area by allowing this use. So I think that gets at harmony and land use plan, really.
Mhm.
So we can use that as preserving the rural character of the area. They said they were gonna hire a security guard to, kind of make sure people didn't get out of hand in events and things.
Right.
I think that gets at public health and safety. Again, it's, the property's still primarily gonna look like this. It's not really gonna change a whole lot. There's no opposing testimony that is gonna injure
Any property
the
owner?
value of any property. Those are the ones that I come up with off the top of my head. I
That works
think that
for me.
addresses all 4 of them. I don't know if you want to come up with any more, but.
That works.
Sounds good to me.
I agree too.
All right.
You good with that?
Yep.
Okay. Our chairman's not here tonight. His mother had a accident yesterday morning, and she had to have emergency hip replacement this evening, but I talked to him or got a message from him at 6:45, and she was out of surgery. Seemed everything went well, and he hopes to have her back in Monroe by Friday, so she can be back around closer, but we want to keep that family in our thoughts and our prayers, and that she continues to heal good. Other than that,
Make motion
Every-
to adjourn.
So moved. Seconded.
third, whatever. Adjourned.
Thank y'all.
That was wonderful, you guys waiting on us. That just, you know, just speaks for our community. We really appreciate that.
We all have opportunities. Just lay it right there on the corner and Susie can pick it up. We all have opportunities, David.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Y'all have a good night.